There's a magic to the early hours of Los Angeles. The joggers hitting pavement, getting their workout in even before the day begins, has a promise to it. Los Angeles is alive even before the sun comes up. Being a young hustler is many things. It's living by a code, having a plan before executing it, being a step ahead of the trend to make the first wave on the scene, plotting the course instead of following one. On this episode of Young Hustler on the Rise, we meet up with Stephanie Vermaas, CEO and founder of This Is a Love Song, a fair trade clothing store in Los Angeles, designing and creating women essentials with an express goal to make every woman feel like a boss in her own skin. Stephanie, you are the CEO of This Is a Love Song. Very neat clothing store. I really love the energy and the vibe in here. And this kind of stuff is absolutely the bag. You know what I mean? This is like the dream. You were from Jakarta, Indonesia. You were born there.
Yeah, I'm half Indonesian, half Dutch.
What was your first business like in Indonesia?
My first business, it was a jewelry business before I had the clothing business. And it was just more of a creative process. I was making things that was the beginning of, learning how to do everything and trying to sell stuff.
Well, tell me more about the clothing brand, though.
Yeah, so that's what This Is a Love Song I don't know, I wanted to make t-shirts because I couldn't find t-shirts that I loved to wear in Bali. At the time, that was 10 years ago, and Bali has changed so much. So I was making basic clothing that I didn't have access to at the time. And yeah, so finally, that ended up being what This Is a Love Song is now.
What was your first big sales like?
So my first big sales, it happened, and it was funny because we just shot a catalog in Bali for fun. And this is before the Instagram days, and so we just made the catalog, and then eventually we started emailing it out to a couple of sales agents that we found on the internet. And one of them replied, and it was someone in New York, and they were like, yeah, we really love this collection, let's set up a meeting. And we actually were planning to go to New York that time.
Wow. And
so basically it kind of happened at the same time. So we got there, and then they were like, yeah, love this collection, we want to sign you guys. And all of a sudden we were just like, okay, let's do this. And 2 months later we're in Urban Outfitters.
How's it been so far?
Time flies. And I've learned a lot even being here because I've lived in Indonesia besides my university years. I was in Indonesia pretty much 80% of my life, and being there, it's just comfortable. And being here, you have to do everything yourself. It's just a different hustle.
What makes you stand out, though? You have a style yourself, and this whole business has a great atmosphere. I don't see a lot of things like this. I
think you just gotta stay true to yourself.
Yeah. Is that one of the core values?
Of course, yeah. I still represent Indonesia. Everyone in Indonesia they seek to me for advice. They look up to me. I think I'm, carrying that flag for them. So I just want to be able to inspire them and show them hey, you can do this, and you can get, chase your dreams wherever you are. Get out of your comfort zone, because that's what you should do while you're young and while you're hustling.
Core stuff. Your tag on your website is, I'm obsessed with becoming a woman comfortable in her own skin. I want to hear what that means.
I think it's more fundamental, the older, with maturity, you really do want to love yourself. You don't want to please anyone, you just want to please yourself. You want to compete with yourself. You want to be the best version of yourself. So I think that is the motto that I strive to be, and I hope that I can, set that example for the women or whoever wants to wear my brand. Fair trade is basically, you're creating an environment where it's a synergy. What you're taking, you're giving back to whoever is making or producing, a garment or product or whatever. In our case, it's the clothing. And when I first started, I was just, again, like I think I mentioned before, I was just so alarmed with the conditions of the factories, and I just made a vow to myself that if I could change that, I would. And we started off super small, like 5 sewers, I think, at the time. And it kind of like grew from that. And the fact that, you know, like Indonesia is such a diverse country, like educational backgrounds, religious backgrounds. There's just, it's so diverse. And I just wanted to be able to give like an equal opportunity to everyone. Success to me means just happiness and being free, having the freedom to do what you want to do, whether that's like creative, you know, like aspiration, or whether you want to make a lot of money, whatever it is that you want to do, like you're free to do it. You know, if you're a woman, you want to stand up for yourself, that's like freedom to me. So that to me is success. To just be who you want to be and just be you. I think my long-term vision is to be able to, you know, be a solid entrepreneur that can give back and really like make an impact.
Any advice would you give to the young hustlers out there?
I think you just need to make sure that this is really what you want, because if you want this, then you will get it. But if you're like, oh, like this is not for everyone. And even sometimes I like, okay, should I go back to the 9 to 5? But it's very rewarding, but there's a lot of hard work. So just make sure that you stay focused and you keep your eye on the prize. Okay, so if you want to be a young hustler, always make sure to stay true to yourself, which means that you have to know who you are. Because if you don't know who you are, how are people gonna know you, right? So that's number 1. Number 2, surround yourself with the best people. You are who you surround yourself with, and it's like the 5 people that you're close to. So make sure those people are fucking awesome. Beat me. And then 3rd, drink a lot of coffee because you will need it. 3 nuggets of wisdom.